my topic for tonight, the best view, comes after the hardest climb. We've done some hard climbing over the last 60 years, have we not?
Yes.
Now, I'm not trying to take us back like Tyrone Davis and turn back the hands of time forever, because if I did, 60 years ago, that would be me. And as cute as I might be, I won't go back there. I'll take the hair. I'd love to have the hair, but you know, that was a long time ago. But I'm home and I'm glad to be here, and I just want to let you know how special it is to look out in the audience and see so many familiar faces. You know, if you knew my dad, you know that I've become him. I look like him. I couldn't deny the man if I wanted to. So it is what it is. But, you know, as I go back and reflect upon the teachers that impacted my life, I'm wanting to see a show of hands. How many of you have had experiences with Booker T. Washington? Went to school there, and can you reflect with me and think about some of the teachers there that impacted your life? I remember all my teachers. My first grade was Miss Bournes, second grade Miss Rogers, third grade Miss Hunt, fourth grade was my mother. My mother taught me. Fifth grade Miss Thelma, and she didn't play. Oh my Lord. Woo, that woman could whoop. And then Mr. Bostic, my first male teacher, Mr. Bostic, and Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart got me and my friend Ronnie Hall ready in one summer, to play in the high school Booker T. Washington band. In the 6th grade, I played the trumpet, and Ronnie played the drums. And he got us ready. We got to march. We thought we were some kind of special with the high school kids. Woo, yes, I'm telling you. But you know, when I was interviewing several alumni, I interviewed 6 of them. I started with our president, Ms. Bernice Hotchkiss. I talked to Clintus Weatherall in Houston, Texas, Linda Hobbs Hill in Oklahoma City, Bo White out in California, Charlotte Tyser Smith out in California, and Walters, Harry T. Walters in Oklahoma City. And I was asking them some questions. I said, give me one word now, a word that would describe our teachers to you. And here are some of the words they gave me. Positive, self-esteem, motivating, inspiring, happy, loving, caring, excellence, dress for success. I said, wait, I said one word. Clintus said, I got to get it in. I got to get it in. Dress for success. They were immaculate with how they dressed.
Yes.
They were a professional, and they made us see a vision of what professional people look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, disciplinarians, that's Miss McAllister all over, ain't it? Oh, boy. You talk about Kevin Hart when he says, you going to learn today? That's Miss McAllister. Let me tell you, if they had a poster back in 1963 that said, you going to learn today, it would have had Mr. McAllister's picture right beside it with a meanest stare-down pose. I'm telling you. I asked them all, hands down, who's the GOAT? Greatest of all time disciplinarian. Miss McAllister. She's the one. Now, if you had to go to the principal's office and see Mr. Adams, see, you just really sick in the head. Because that's where you go see Mr. Adams and have to meet the Board of Education. The Board of Education. You didn't want to meet the Board of Education because that thing talked to you. And then they gave me one more. Superheroes. Those are some of the words that describe those teachers back then. You see, once upon a time, we used to go to an all-black school that we affectionately called Booker T. Washington.
Yes.
And we loved it. We absolutely loved it. We wanted to go to school. You know, kids sometimes today don't want to go to school. We wanted to go to school. It was fun. We were learning, but we wanted to be there. You see, and so when I think about what a difference 60 years has made, think about it. We go to the moon now so routinely, it doesn't even make the 10 o'clock news. There was a time when President John F. Kennedy said, we'll go to the moon in 10 years. And we thought the man was crazy. Like, go to the moon? What are we going to go up there for? We don't go to the moon. Some people didn't believe we went when we did go. They thought it was just fake film. Like they put some film footage together in an editing room and it really didn't happen.
Right.
Now, your kids and your grandkids and your kids' grandkids one day may come to you and say, hey, Dad, you got a couple $1,000. I want to go to the party on the moon this weekend. You'd be like, you have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, citizens, regular Joe Blow citizens can get on a spaceship now and go to the moon. They can pay and go to the moon. And there was once a time that was just an idea. It wasn't nowhere on paper that it made sense except an idea, and the president said we will go to the moon in 10 years. 1969, we did. We had a black president in 2008. Come on, y'all. My sons, and I know y'all gonna judge me now, my sons were 8 years old. Don't judge me. I started late. I know it. They could be my grandsons. I know it. You don't have to tell me. My sons were 8 years old when President Barack Obama became president. And from 8 until 16, they walked around with a black man in the White House and a black family in the White House, and my kids, acted like that was normal.
Yeah.
There was nothing normal about that. Are you kidding me? Black people in the White House and they not the janitor? What are you talking about? And my kids are acting like, well, that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
That's not the way it's ever been until now.
That's right.
But all those things, 9/11. My first 9/11 wasn't the 9/11 that we talk about 9/11. My first 9/11 was when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I don't know about you. That was a traumatic thing to see a man get killed for real on TV.
Yes.
That was traumatic for us to see that. And we love John F. Kennedy. We love the Kennedys.
Yes, we
Black
do.
people love the Kennedys. If you went into most black people's houses in the 60s, they had 3 pictures on the wall. You want to tell me who they were? Jesus Christ, Martin Luther King, and John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
And they all were tragically killed, standing up for a cause, trying to help better our people, you see. So when I think about how far we've traveled, how far we've come, I would be remiss to not mention the March on Washington. 1963, when Dr. King said, I have a dream.
Yes.
Y'all remember that?
Yes.
And you might say, well, what does that have to do with Booker T? What does that have to do with us? It has everything to do with us. Because as much as we've been trying to make change, and we made a little stab here and there, got to be able to ride on the bus everywhere, seat anywhere, we still hadn't made major changes in the South.
Right.
We still couldn't vote, even though they said we could. You had to pass a test to vote. And that test was so difficult, Albert Einstein couldn't pass it.
Yeah.
And the only people that had to pass it was the black people
Right.
to vote. Now, you know, we didn't really like voting at one time anyway, so if you're going to make me have to take a test to vote, I'll stay at home. That's just too much drama there.
Yeah.
So when 1963 happened, and we were for the first time having this March on Washington, I never will forget it. I was outside playing football with my friends, my buddies. It was me, Ronnie, Donnie, Jimmy, Jerry, Albert, and my dog Rex. I have a German Shepherd named Rex, and he could play football. You ask anybody that knew me when I was a kid, did I have a German Shepherd that could play football? They say, yes, he did. That darn dog could play football. I don't know why, I don't know how, but my German Shepherd watched us play for so long. One day he just jumped in the game and started playing. And he understood that we were tiny, we were little kids. He was bigger than most of us, but he could throw a rowing block with wrapping you up so pretty and wouldn't even hurt you. He was never vicious, but he would just play the game. He could line up with the ball and grab it and start running and score a touchdown. He could do everything but do an end zone dance. That's my dog Rex. So my mother comes outside, we're playing football. She says, Tony, I need you to come in the house. oh, Mom, we're in the middle of the game. The game's tied. She was like, I need you to tell your friends to go home, come in the game, come inside. Oh, what's going on? I need you to watch the March on Washington. Dr. King's getting ready to speak. I don't want you to miss this. Your dad and I want you to see this. Okay. I mean, it was by no means an argument going on here. Trust me. I just had to decide that I want to get a butt whipping first in front of my friends and go inside, or did I just want to go inside? So I went inside. And the moment I got in there, I was so amazed. You know, we had black and white TV in the 60s, you know, only had 3 channels. And I saw all these black people on TV. I mean, it was just wall-to-wall black people. Even in a Tarzan movie, I'd never seen this many black people. I was like, what is going on? They going to Africa? What's happening? I was just 9 years old. And I don't know if you know this about me. I'm sure you don't. Because when I had to go out in public in those days, I was a school teacher boy. So I had to act a certain way.
Yeah.
But at home, I was a fool. I acted a fool. I was a comedian in my family, and they would let me be silly at times. Daddy never bothered me, tolerated me. My sister, she just ignored me. I didn't even know my sister loved me till I was 7. She just ignored me. She used to say stuff to me like, you know, we found you on the side of the road. Daddy got out and saved you from a pack of wild dogs. They're about to eat you for supper. I'm like, oh, Mama, that's say I'm adopted. And she said, I don't care nothing about your cousin. I'm just going to tell you the truth. You go ask Mama, they just going to lie. They just going to say, I go there, Mom said, Pat, quit telling that boy that. Quit lying to that boy. And she said, see, I told you they're going to lie. You was adopted. I was here first. You was adopted. But I'm inside and I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, you know, they didn't have prescription for ADHD back then, but I probably needed some Prozac when I went in there. You know, I've been out there playing football. Those were the days when kids wanted to stay outside all day.
Yeah.
It was cruel and unusual punishment making a kid go inside.
Right.
I didn't want to go inside, but I'm inside. I'm trying to settle down, but I'm just bouncing off the walls. When I'm looking at all these people on TV, what is going on this TV? Are they going to Africa? What's happening? Finally, it's Dr. King's turn to get up there. He started slow and deliberate. I'm like, boy, this man is serious here. Kids know when the grown-ups are serious and when they're just playing with you. He was like, 100 years later, 100 years later, Emancipation Proclamation, and the Negro is still not free. You know, we used to call each other Negroes. We didn't call each other black in them days. He said the Negro is still not free. So I'm still in my silly mode. I'm like, Mama, did you hear what he said? He said we not free. What do you mean we not free, Mama? You told me Abraham Lincoln freed us in 1865. They just ignored me. They just glued to the TV, and I'm trying to get somebody. Pat, we not free. Pat, Mama. Nobody talked to me. He kept going. So I was trying to listen. He said, America done wrote the Negro a bad check. I said, oh no, they done wrote us a bad check. Oh no, we ain't taking that no more. Daddy, they wrote us a bad check. They gonna have to pay us overtime. Everybody ignored me. And he kept going. He said, let freedom ring. I said, well, let it ring, man. Let freedom ring. He started talking about every hamlet, every home, every village, from the Lookout Mountains of Tennessee, Stone Mountain, Georgia. And I was like, make it plain, man. What you talking about? Make it plain. That's what Ava Nera used to say, my next door neighbor. We take her to church sometime, and when we get in church, and sometime a highfalutin preacher might be talking over her head, she'd say, make it plain, make it plain. And the preacher make it plain. So I'm up there yelling at Mr. Dr. King, make it plain, man. I don't know what you're talking about. So then he finally made it plain. He said, I have a dream. No, he said, I still have a dream. And I was like, you do? What you dreaming about? Now I'm thinking in my head now, I gotten quiet. Because I got a dream too. And he said, I dream one day my little children will not be judged by the color of their skin. He said they will be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin.
Right.
I was like, ooh, that's good. I like that. I'm just thinking now. I'm quiet now. I'm finally settled down. Then I was thinking, without talking, I said, I have a dream. You know what I dream? I went swimming in the white swimming pool. What you think about that dream? It was me, Ronnie, Donnie, Jimmy, Jerry, Albert, and Shorty Brown. Let me put some respect on that one. Jesse Brown. Because Jesse taught us how to swim. Listen, in my neighborhood, the older boys didn't abuse us. They worked with us. They helped us. Jesse Brown taught me how to backstroke, side stroke. I could float for 30 minutes. I mean, we used to sneak around Holton's feed store in the back. There's an old pool back there, brown, nasty water. And that was our black oasis where we used to swim. And I used to live, well, I didn't live there, but I visited my granddad. He was a half a block from that white swimming pool. And I could just taste that water. I wanted to be in that water so bad. But I couldn't go. But I'm in there talking to Dr. King on the TV about my dream. I dreamed I went swimming in the white swimming pool. With me, Ronnie, Donnie, Jimmy, Jerry, Albert Brown. Jesse Brown. What do you think about that dream? And he went further. He started saying stuff like, one day I have a dream that little white boys and little black girls and little black boys and little white girls will hold hands and sing that old Negro spiritual. I said, whoa, wait. I ain't holding no white girl hand. Whoa. You done gone too far now, man. Mama, you hear what he's saying? You told me, Mama, not to look, not to say nothing, not to whistle, not to sing, not to moan, not to groan, not to yell. You told me to just keep it moving if I run into one of them. And then he talking about we holding hands. What is wrong with this man? Mother just ignored me. But see, I knew how to get my mother's attention. My mother's a school teacher. She did not want me to use bad English, incorrect English. So I started using incorrect English on purpose. What is you talking about, man? What is you saying? R, Tony, A-R-E. She never looked, step right there at the TV, looking at the TV. But she corrected me in the process. So I kept going. And at the end, Dr. King said, free at last, thank God Almighty. And my mother and dad just exploded and got so happy, jumped up. I was like, have we been looking at the same TV? Because they got so happy at the end when he finished and sat down. I missed it, you know. But what I came to understand later, Dr. King was a superhero. That man was a superhero. And some of y'all might be confused if you didn't live in that time and think that that non-violence thing meant he was weak, or somehow being non-violent meant he was soft or would turn the cheek. No, that was a strategy. And it was the only strategy that we felt could work. We made up less than 14% of the population in America. Going against the majority, we had to have a strategy that could work. Dr. King studied the strategy from India, Mahatma Gandhi's strategy, where they broke the British nation down to their knees and made them leave their country and leave them alone through non violence,
Yes. Yes.
non-violent protests. They were willing to give up their lives. But see, when you talk about Dr. King, don't you think that man was soft? How brave do you have to be
Come on now.
to stand in front of an angry mob of thousands of people that are looking at you wanting to just kill you,
Right.
and you're leading a whole group of people with you? How angry, how brave do you have to be to stare down guns, shotguns, rifles, angry dogs that are growling and foaming at the mouth waiting to attack you? The man was arrested 29 times
Right.
in his short journey. When he said yes to the call, he said yes to the challenge. And when he said yes to the challenge, he also said yes to his death.
Yes.
He knew he wasn't going to probably live to see his kids grow up.
Yeah.
He knew this cause was bigger than he was.
Yeah.
And he took it on.
Yes.
How many of you would have signed up for that death sentence?
My Lord.
A lot of us would not have.
Right.
But everything changed after 1963. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII, for the first time put us on record and gave us legal recourse if we were not treated fairly.
Yes.
Gave us legal recourse for fair housing, better jobs. The government came in and basically said, listen, we're giving you, your company, tens of millions of dollars. We should have the right to insert a couple little amendments
Yes.
of how you need to conduct business. We need you to start looking at hiring more minorities. And that's what Title VII did for us. In 1965, the Voting Rights Act was approved. These things happened after the March on Washington.
Yes.
Now, I didn't know what was going on. Miss Rogans did. She and Mama and a lot of those teachers, they were huddled up for years talking about this thing called Brown versus Board of Education. Well, that was approved in 1954, where a little black girl in Topeka, Kansas decided, I don't want to walk that far to school, Daddy. Why can't I go to that school? It's just right here. And they went to the Supreme Court and got it approved. And that thing called Brown versus Board of Education, first time I heard it, I thought they was talking about Mr. Adams' paddle. I was like, boy, Mr. Adams' paddle is famous. They ain't talking about Mr. Adams' paddle on TV, Mama. Board of Education, Brown versus Board of Education. They weren't talking about his paddle. They were talking about that lawsuit.
Yeah.
That changed the game and made integration become mandatory. My daddy was my Superman.
Yeah.
Love my daddy. Got jealous sometimes because he gave so much of himself to everybody else.
Yeah.
He wasn't with me all the time. He'd be all out there trying to help everybody. But I loved him. And aside from him and my mother being my superheroes and some of the teachers, I had idols that I idolized at Booker T. Washington that were students. Let me tell you, I idolized Benny Gaffney.
Yeah.
I idolized O.C. Gaffney, his big brother.
Yeah.
I idolized Bo White and Willie Earl Lyons. Ooh. I idolized Vernell Grant, J.D. Butler. I idolized A.C. Aikens and Clay Fleming. I idolized Quilla McBerry. You don't know what I'm talking about. Quilla Mack played quarterback and ran. I idolized him and his brother W.T. Berry.
Yeah.
I idolized Fat Daddy Frazier.
Yeah.
Y'all don't even know Fat Daddy. That's Alba's big brother. Lived right in the corner from me. Let me tell you, Fat Daddy, when he played football, he had 3 plays. Fat Daddy left, Fat Daddy right, Fat Daddy up the middle. He'd stand there and tell you, I'm coming right there. And you couldn't stop it. Could not stop it. O.C. Gaffney, he was a beast down there in the post.
Yeah.
They retired his jersey.
Yeah.
He was Shaq before Shaq existed. And Benny Gaffney, he was poetry in motion.
Yes, he was.
Left hand, right hand, grease lightning. You couldn't stop him. Just get out of the way. They could put a full court press on Benny, and he's just break the press by himself. Just get out of the way. He was as good as Marcus Haynes. I'm glad nobody asked me to choose who's my favorite, because I love Benny Gaffney. Let me tell you, Wilbur Simmons could run like a gazelle. He could run like a gazelle. I wanted to run like Wilbur Simmons.
Yeah.
Bernice Akins, that girl could run. Whoa, she could fly. And she was smart as a whip. Made A+. When Bernice got that baton and came around that curve and went down that straight, the crowd would go crazy. Woo! Some people said woo because she was fast. Some said woo because she was fine. Whoa! Take your pick. It didn't matter. That girl could run. Let me tell you, Henry Butler. I loved Henry Butler. Henry Butler could play a trumpet so good, he'd make the girls scream and make them cry. He could take that trumpet and twirl it around his lip, and then he just looked so cool when he did. I wanted to be like Henry Butler so bad. I could taste it. Let me tell you. Then they said, time's up. You got to go to the white school. All my heroes over here. All my heroes over here. But I had to go there. And I broke records there. I set new records there. Statewide records. Jim Thorpe Award records. But I did it because I had my heroes with me.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to compete against none of those people. I didn't know them. My heroes were back at Booker T.
Yeah.
And that's what was moving me and driving me. Role models that we had that looked like us, talked like us.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I don't know what we're doing now. I'm coming back home more often, but we got to save our babies.
Yeah.
We got to help our babies.
Yeah.
We got to do something. They can't get all this from the school.
Yeah.
There's something we got to do. We got to give them more grit. Our black teachers gave us perseverance,
Yeah.
passion, purpose,
That's right.
determination, courage, and hope. They gave us all of that. We got to get our babies, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, before it's too late.
Yeah.
You know, if you know like I do, they got something called pipeline to prison. They can determine in third and fourth grade based on test scores how many more jails to build, how many more prisons to build. With accuracy, they can determine that.
Wow.
That's big business. Don't you let nobody fool you. This is modern day slavery. How can we make up 14% of the population but make up 60, 70% of the population in prison? Pipeline of prison is real. We got to help our kids, our babies, save them from what they don't understand. Before I close, I asked the alumni, if you knew then what you know now, 60 years later, what would you do differently? What would you change? They pretty much said, I wouldn't change anything. Even though there was unfairness, even though we got the hand-me-down equipment in football and basketball and track, our books, were worn and tattered, I wouldn't change it because it helped determine and make us who we are.
Right.
You see, we had a hard mountain to climb. Our kids today, we made it so easy for them. We made life so wonderful for them. And listen, don't get mad. I'm talking to myself first. I'm as guilty as anybody in this room. I've spoiled my kids right. Shame on me. We forgot, or we chose not to give them a hard mountain to climb so they could appreciate the view.
Right.
So they could appreciate the view. We got to go back and teach our babies that you got to work for your stuff. You got to work hard for it. It's not going to be free. And help them to become successes that they should be. So I asked myself that question, what would you do differently, Tony? And I said I would write a letter. And the letter that I wanted to write was this. I said, dear beloved teachers and staff, everyone associated with the rearing and raising of us at Booker T, that would include the cooks, the janitors, the bus drivers, the secretaries, the village, the neighbors, the friends, the community. I said, if you can hear me, I would like to say to you, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish that I had been more appreciative and grateful back then. If I knew then what I know now, I would have hugged your neck often as a routine on a regular basis and said to each of you, thank you for being such powerful leaders and shining examples of what professionalism should look like. Thank you for being so dedicated, so knowledgeable, so committed, so supportive and caring. Thank you for providing us with clear direction and expectations, and for being insistent and demanding of us to follow through and finish the job. Thank you for pushing us to be the best version of ourselves every day. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to excellence and your relentless spirit to make us stretch beyond what we thought was possible. Thank you for giving us the survival tools that we needed to develop confidence, perseverance, and grit. Thank you for preparing us for the foundation to ensure that our futures would be better and brighter than we could ever have imagined. Thank you for demanding and inspiring us to choose the hardest climb so that we could experience and enjoy forever lives in our heart. And we will love you until the end of time. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right.